Let's spend the perfect Sunday.
Here are the best shoes every guy
on Netflix, you'll definitely want to add.
Let's try matcha for the first
Here are some
time.
products I actually call my best friend to buy.
This past year, I've watched my 13-year-old sister become a completely different person thanks to social media. After a few weeks of being on apps like Snapchat, YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, she changed pretty drastically. She started to look different, talk different, act different, and just generally want different things. For every detail of herself, small or large, that didn't fit social media's standard of ideal or beautiful, she became more and more self-conscious of herself. And honestly, I don't think she noticed. Social media is designed to predict our behavior and react accordingly. The algorithm she spends hours on every day knows to capitalize on the insecurities of young women. In a few weeks, social media's algorithms completely derailed how my sister saw herself. All of this really raises the question, is it ethical for social media algorithms to shape one's identity, disrupting inherent beliefs, behaviors, and sense of individuality? So how is it possible that algorithms can influence us? According to The Algorithmic Self, How AI is Reshaping Human Identity, Introspection, Agency by Gina Joseph, the algorithmic self can be understood as a digitally mediated identity in which personal awareness, preferences, and even emotional patterns are shaped through continuous feedback from AI systems. In other words, individuality is no longer inwardly developed. Rather, it's contrived by social media. Algorithms built for commercial interests have detrimental effects on individuality, autonomy, and representation. Every like, comment, share, pause, and swipe feeds data to algorithms to help you become the most profitable version of yourself. We can look at the Pilates princess phenomenon as an example.
Who's calling that? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit? Who's calling that shit? Who?
According to Women's Health, Pilates is the fastest growing workout modality. Since 2019, Pilates participation has grown from 9.2 million to 12.9 million people. Why? Social media. Social media has ruthlessly showcased conventionally attractive women in cute athleisure sets going to their weekly Pilates. As a result, individuals seeking the Pilates princess physique often fall prey to the marketing of Pilates. These individuals were ruthlessly targeted by the algorithm, which sold them expensive classes and matching workout sets under the guise of reinventing themselves. Pilates is just one form of movement, but it's taken off as a result of social media algorithms. It's very popular to meet someone who does Pilates, despite the fact that there's so many different types of workout modalities. We no longer find individuality through lived experience, but rather by what the algorithm tells us to do. Algorithms tell us exactly what is attractive, what is desirable, and what is success. Ricardo Pronzato calls this process algorithmic selfing. Pronzato believes that identity is continuously constructed and reconstructed by algorithms. He states that in the contemporary networked media landscape, processes of algorithmic selfing are necessarily intertwined with a process of individuation. With every like, search, swipe, pause, algorithms alter and reinforce our interests, beliefs, and aspirations. And over time, that reinforcement becomes identity. But is that ethical? According to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, Daoism, also referred to as Daoism, is a Chinese philosophy structured around the natural possibilities for living beings. Daoism follows the belief that nature guides human beings to virtuosity, or virtue and excellence, by forging natural paths for living beings to follow. In his paper Daoism from the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, Chad Hansen discusses two key principles, Wu Wei and Ziran. Wu Wei means to act in harmony with life's circumstances, rather than attempting to force outcomes. Additionally, striving for excessive engagement or allowing the algorithm to construct your identity very clearly goes against the principles of Daoism. Similarly, Ziran can be understood as living authentically through natural spontaneity. Ziran refers to spontaneous existence free from the pressures of external engineering and manipulation. As we've discussed, automated algorithms continuously seek ways to impose new information on you and also make you more profitable, thus molding your identity rather than letting it emerge naturally. Furthermore, exposure to algorithms puts individuals at risk for an unhealthy reliance or obsession with social media. It's important to note that from a skeptic's perspective, avoiding algorithms altogether may in fact be harder than allowing them to exist in your life, given the conditions of modern day. Considering principles like Wu Wei and Zeron, it's safe to assume that algorithmic conditioning would not be considered ethical. However, Daoism would not suggest giving up social media entirely. A Daoist would support a framework of balance. If users are able to maintain a healthy relationship with social media in which they present themselves authentically and are regularly exposed to spaces offline that help them connect with themselves, then of course social media can be just as ethical as sitting outside in nature. Now let's analyze the ethics of algorithmic selfing from the lens of Ubuntu ethics. Ubuntu is an African ethical framework that underlines community and living harmoniously with others as the ideal way to live authentically. The term Ubuntu can also be translated to I am because you are. Personhood is something that emerges through community and relationships. According to the Stanford Encyclopedia of Philosophy, Ubuntu emphasizes harmonious relationships between persons as constitutive of the individual, underscoring compassion and commitment to one another's growth. This framework becomes incredibly relevant when discussing connections online. If you've been anywhere near social media, you know that social media praises online connection. Whether that's comments, liking, shares, any engagement is praised. But the question is whether that creates true communities or promotes inauthentic connections that only serve to diminish one's sense of individuality. Short answer, the latter. The goal of the algorithms is to monetize you, not to create your next best connection. Social media is a paradox. It embodies community while also denying true connection, simultaneously promoting and discouraging harmony among others. A great example of this is parasocial relationships. A parasocial relationship is defined as a one-sided bond in which one party contributes extensive energy and interest in a relationship, where the other party, often a celebrity or influencer, is completely unaware of the other party's existence. It's fair to say that many relationships in social media follow this framework. Most online engagement is one-sided, competitive, monetized, or performative. Ubuntu follows the belief that humanity is found through authentic relationships with mutual trust and care between parties. Connection should be reciprocal, yet algorithms highly encourage cheap engagement over valuable conversations. Viewers are encouraged to repeatedly engage with content from one person, despite that individual never engaging with them at the same level. I'm not denying that social media has the power to bring people together, but the algorithm alone can't truly be credited for those strong bonds. Such relationships can only flourish from mutual care and compassion. Social media is a space where many users prioritize visibility, engagement, and influence over authentic connections. These superficial connections and social polarization encouraged through social media make algorithms a direct contrast with Ubuntu ways of living ethically. According to my analysis, both Daoism and Ubuntu claim that algorithmic identity conditioning is unethical. Both ethical frameworks critique automated algorithms for deteriorating one's sense of self or community. Daoism details a sense of natural harmony. Algorithms can create a sense that one's world is much larger than it actually is, thus skewing one's sense of self and purpose. Ubuntu shuns algorithms for the loss of authentic connections. Social polarization through algorithms creates the illusion of social connection while doing little to foster true and authentic relationships. The inevitable distortion of one's beliefs, preferences, and behavior as a result of algorithmic conditioning is a danger to both ethics frameworks. But how each framework defines identity varies. Daoism asks, is this version of yourself real? While Ubuntu seeks to answer, are these relationships real? Both are valuable. The ethical concern is not exposure to other humans, but rather the scale, speed, and automation of these systems that impose beliefs onto us. As algorithms craft our identity for engagement and performance, individuality is harder and harder to come by. Despite it seeming like your algorithm knows you, it only serves to mold you. Luckily, this doesn't mean that all hope is lost. Algorithms are powerful tools of identity affirmation. They can act as a mirror in many cases, reflecting only what we want them to, and thus finding a sense of identity and belonging through them. At the end of the day, we are the ones who click, swipe, like, watch, pause, etc. Our engagement with content can be a powerful tool for identity experimentation, helping you to find out who you are and what you truly value. So I'll leave you with one note. Consume consciously, don't let your algorithm define who you are. My name is Paige Bryce-Rovich. This was my Info 103 writing project. Thank you for your time.